Hello, my friends. Happy Saturday. I have had such a huge shift and insight the last day and a half. And I want to share it with you. It's a personal thing, and I usually don't have a problem sharing. I normally don't have a problem sharing what's going on in my life because I think that most of what I share is something we can all relate to. And when we hear somebody else put words to something, it can create a total shift. It's like an activation or a transmission of something where there's this thing happening. And that is exactly what happened to me very recently, where something I have been working on forever. And I think we all have our specific thing, right? That just will not budge. And probably like you, I have spent so much time, so much money, so much this and that to get to the core of something, a pressure, an intensity that I have felt in the core of my being and my nervous system for a long, long time. And even though it has never really exposed itself, I mean, I could see all the layers around it. As when we go through things, we see this and we change it a little bit, and suddenly we can include it, and there's more openness, more expansion. And that's how we all go through that. And then one day, it's like when you're Michelangelo, who's chipping his way in the rock to bring out this beautiful statue, which was always in there. So you just keep chipping at ourselves, and nothing seems to happen. And then suddenly there's this little cling, and then the whole thing is being exposed, is seen, or comes to the surface. So this buzzing that I've had in my nervous system forever and ever. It feels like I probably came in with a lot of it and maybe attracted a family that would really mirror it back to me even more. And, learning to be with it, love it, listen to it, embrace it. All very important pieces, I believe, very important because it just keeps softening and we keep softening and softening. And and then the other day, I became aware through some circumstances that this buzzing, this pressure that I have felt in my belly and my nervous system has simply been a way to keep out the divine. What? Here my whole life is about, embodying and surrendering. But there was one part in there, and I know it's related to past lives too, but it's also related to something I went through in this lifetime where I had a huge opening for 2 or 3 months, and then it went away, and I went through the deepest, deepest hell. So I can understand all that, and I've always understood it. And but what shifted for me is that there was an underlying um what should I call it? Like a resistance to God. There was almost like, I'm doing everything. Why are you not helping me? That's some of the separate sense of self that makes stories out of our experiences. So I knew it was there and I had let go of a lot of it, but there was still something there that was literally resisting the divine. So what I realized was basically that it almost makes me emotional because it was so profound, um, that the divine has been trying, trying is kind of a funny word, trying to come in, to open, to fulfill me, to become me for so long. And that is the energy that I have felt. And my resistance to that energy is what has been all this intensity that I have been feeling. So here I've been surrendering to God, and surrendering, and God is coming there, yeah, I'm here, I'm here, and more is coming. The more I surrender and say yes to it, the more the energy is coming, and the more I've been resisting it, like complete insanity now that I can see what's been going on. So it was always me who did it to myself. It was not a God, ignoring me or withholding from me, all the underlying beliefs that we all have been carrying with us. And, for me, who's been doing so much deep work for so long, probably just like you, there was just this one here that was holding out and was just resisting. And the more I opened up to God and let God in, the more energy came in, the more I would resist. And because this resistance was so intense, I just felt like the divine is not here for me. Or, why are you not helping me? I'm so surrendered. Can you relate to any of these statements? I think a lot of us can. So the emotional part was just really seeing and feeling that God has always wanted to come in. God is like doing everything. And when I say God, it's not this guy up in the sky. It's the divine, it's the energy, it's the love itself, the field, whatever we want to call it. But right now I just use the word God. That energy, that divine energy has been here, wanting in. It's like, I'm here, Pernilla, I'm here, I'm here. It's like, oh, no, you're not. Why am I feeling all this intensity here? Why are you not helping me? I'm like, I'm here, I'm here. And the more that I'm here, energy comes in, which is strong, the more I would just resist and feel discomfort. So it was this completely crazy cycle that I have been in. And wow, what a shift that was in me as in consciousness. Because now I'm like, oh, honey, come in. And there is a love and a gratitude, realizing that it was not it was not the field, it was not God denying me anything, it was me trying to keep it out. So now the love that I felt for the divine, that connection, has just opened up, because that resistance and that keeping the door closed, that energy is not necessary anymore, because I've always been loved. It's always been here for me. And now a lot of my day, I just love just like, yes, thank you. There's such a love and gratitude that it is here for me. And, it's dualistic language, but you know how it is when we go through these things, that can be very helpful. And so, yeah, it's always been here for me. It's certainly here now. And now I can start receiving it openly instead of closing the door on it and pushing and feeling so much discomfort in my body. Wow, what a gift. What a gift. And so seeing that I have always done it to myself, not consciously, not out of malice or stupidity, it's simply been another deeper layer that had not been seen yet. And that's why I think that self-love is so important, and just learning to be present with all these layers. And this seems to be a really deep layer that might just pull out, we can pull it out with all the roots. And there's no making myself wrong. There's just this immense gratitude that I had perceived it wrong. And I'm very happy to give up that perception. So I have a feeling that this relates to a lot of us, that the discomfort, the challenges we feel, I mean, we all know that it's because we have these experiences because we feel separate from the divine, right? And and that discomfort and maybe grief or anger that we feel because we're not getting our needs met even though we're trying so hard, that is a tipping point, was a tipping point for me. And if it is for you too, take this to heart, take this in, and notice, if you realize that the pressure, the discomfort you are feeling could be your way of keeping out what you want. And the pressure that you feel, and it gets hard, it gets more, because my pressure was just getting more and more and more, because the divine is just like, hey, let me in, let me through. It's like, no, 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 you're not there for me. So if you can see that this dynamic, if it relates to you, I'm not saying this is for everybody, but right now it feels like a very important piece to expose. And it might help some of you to see that maybe you're doing this to yourself unconsciously, not something to blame yourself for, and that the reason you're feeling it or experiencing it is simply because you're not yet letting the love, the divine, the field, heaven, let it fully come into your life and fill you up, flush it out. Yeah, if that resonates, I would love for you to comment below, share with us all how you're experiencing it. Take some time, be present with it. But that anger we may have towards the divine because we're not getting our needs met, that may be exactly what is the reason that they're not being met, because we're seeing it through a filter and we're not seeing what is really here. And that is basically just love wanting to fulfill itself as you and as I. Thank you for letting me express that. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. And if you need some help with that, please reach out, because that's what I'm here for. Have a beautiful day, my friends.